Hello, welcome to Trisha's Cards and Crafts. I'm Trisha, and today I'm going to be using the textured floral stamp set, and I'll also be using the So Sincere and Biggest Wish stamps. But I'm going to do something a little bit different today because I'm going to be making 3 cards from 1 sheet of paper. So these are the 3 cards. I've got a DL or a tall slim card, which I'm using this way, so it's horizontal rather than vertical. And then I've got 2 other 5x7 cards, card bases, and these are going to be vertical rather than horizontal, so they're portrait rather than landscape. So these are the cards that I've already made. I'm going to change the colours around, but that's all really. I'm going to show you exactly how I made them. When I made these cards, I used crumb cake, I used a Sahara sand background, and then I've used the pebbled path, copper clay, and pecan pie. So those are the colours that I've used. I also used the copper clay card and for the background and for the background labels for the backings for the labels as well. And I've used some lovely copper ribbon that goes with these, and I also used some the speckled dots, adhesive dots for the embellishments as well. So these are the cards that I've made, and I'm going to show you how I made them, but using a different colourways. So today I'm going to use Bubble Bath, Moody Mauve, Fresh Freesia, and Berry Burst. So those are the 4 colours that I'm going to use today, but I make them up in the same way that I made these cards, the other cards. So I'm just going to put these out of the way a moment, and I'm going to start off with a piece of Bubble Bath for my background. This is the lightest of all of them, and it won't matter that I'm using the same colour ink because tone on tone is okay, fine. So I'm first of all going to use my nice trimmer, and I'm going to take off 1/2 inch off this end. I'm hoping that's right now. And then I'm going to score at about 3.5 inches. And I'm just going to score, make sure it's butted right up to the top, 3.5 inches. And then I'm going to score at 4 and, let me get this right, 4 3/4, I think it is. I need 4 7/8. No. So the width is 5, no, it's 5, that's right. I'm using 5x7, so I'm doing it 4.5. That's it. So this one's going to be 4.5, and I'm only going to score, don't know whether you can see, from the score line up. So I'm going to score from there up, okay? I think that should be right. Just check what that is. I think I've done this one. That's right, but let me just check on this side, because I need this to be 6.5 inches, and that's way more than that. It's 5x7, so it needs to be 6.5. So I'm going to cut this off as well. So I did 6.5. So I'm taking off 3 centimeters basically. Yes. Oops. Where did that come from? Right. Just going to cut that off. So I've got 6.5 along here, 4.5 along there, and then this one is about 4 3/4. And then on this side I've got 3.5 inches, and it's 21 centimeters, but this one I'm going to be cutting some off this end as well. Okay, right, that's all my scoring I'm going to do for now. And I'm just going to put this end back wherever it came from. Over here, I think. There we go. Right, so that's my scoring done. Now we can start on the stamping. So I'm going to use these images from the stamp set. So I'll be using this large one, which is this one here. Not that one. This one, the smaller flower, which is this one. The splatters, this one here. The sort of large leaves that are under here, or there. And I'm going to use this one here, and I'm also going to use this one here, this small one for the center of the small flower. Okay, so those are the images I'm going to use for these cards. Right, so for the large flower, I'm going to use the bubble bath, and I'm going to start on this side, and I'm going to be stamping off. So I'm going to move this white sheet of paper out of the way, just because it's nice and clean, and the one underneath isn't, because I used that one to do the stamping off last time. So I'm just going to pull this down slightly. There we go. And I will be stamping off with these inks. It's very juicy. There we go. Let's try and do this. So this one here, they're not going to be exactly the same anyway. So each time you do something like this, it'll be different. And along here. And then up here, and it doesn't matter if they go over, because that's definitely not going to matter. And then here, and maybe another little one over here. I think that should be okay. And then on this piece here, I'm going to put one here, one over here, and one here. There we go. And I'm going to have a little one about here, I think. There we go. And on this piece here, which is the bigger one, I'm going to have one here, one here, so these are going to be more or less around the side rather than in the middle. And I'm also going to put this one in the middle as well. I want, maybe not. Don't know if this will fit properly. I'm going to put that one there. There we go. Right, so I think that's all I'm going to do with the bigger one. So that's that one used. And then I'm going to use the Moody Mauve. I'm not sure which is the Yeah, I'm going to use the Moody Morph for the leaves. I'm going to do those next. So I'm inking this up, and I'm going to just sort of overlap them slightly. There's one. It does look quite dark, but it will come a little bit lighter than this. One there. Got to be careful because I tend to ink my thumbs up at the same time. And that one will be there. This one, come in a little bit there. And that one over here. Then I'll have another one just here. One over here. One up here. There. Not sure I really need this one, but I'll just put a little bit on there. This one over here. So these are going to be overlapping a little bit there. This one just here. This is what I was more thinking of when I was doing this one. I'm going to bring this one in a bit further there. This one here. And I'm not going to bother with this bottom one. So just this one there. So we've got all of the darker colours done now. So that one's done. Now we're going to go for the Fresh Freesia. And I'm going to use the smaller flower for this one. And I'm going to just put some of these. This one's not quite so juicy. Around to fill in some of the gaps. Some in here. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you put them, it's completely up to you. I might not have even put them in the same places as I did on the other card. In fact, I probably won't be, because I might not have used the flowers in the same way as on the other card either. So it's completely up to you how you do this. And I've also managed to get some of the darker colour there, but it doesn't really matter. I'll put another one here. Scissors is in the way. Everything is in the way at the moment. Let's just move things out the way. There we go. I'm going to put one of those there. I'm going to put another one here and one over here. One here. There. And there. I might put another one over here because I can. And that, I think, might be just another one here, I think. There we go. Right. Just want another one there. And one just there. There we go. Right, now I'm going to use my Berry Burst. This one's going to be interesting. So I'll use the Berry Burst for the centres of my large flower. One. So I'm just going to go around and put all the centres into my large flowers. I think it just sort of brings them to life a little bit more. So these photopolymer stamps are sort of, I think they're called distinctive stamps. I can't see it on there. But they've sort of got a sort of texture. They don't give a flat image, a complete sort of all over image. They are sort of different sort of levels of tones within the stamp when they're stamped out. So it makes them quite a bit more interesting, I think. It's not just a solid image that you get when you use these stamps. There we go. There. So I've done all of those, and then I'm just going to clean that off before I get my fingers dirty. Go, and then I'm going to use my Moody Mauve again, but for the inside of the fresh freesia flowers, and I'm using the smaller image. I can take this one off a minute. So I'm going to use this smaller image to go in the centre of the fresh freesia flowers, the smaller flowers. There you go. And there. And there. If you didn't want it to be so dark, you could stamp it off first, and then you'd get a paler image, a lighter tone. I find it easier to use different size of stamping blocks for different size stamps, because that way you can, especially if they're small stamps, you don't get the ink everywhere all over the stamp, and then you get possibly all over your fingers and all over your page if you're not careful. But also it's easier to manipulate the stamp, so that if you wanted to turn it around, it's a lot easier. You just turn it in your fingers. There you go, nearly fit. And then that way round. If I was using a smaller piece of paper or card, I could have turned the card so that I didn't have to worry about turning the stamp so much. But when you've got a small stamping block, it makes it a lot easier. There we go. So I think that's all of those done. Right, I'll clean this one off because that one is messy now. There we go. So that one's cleaned off. Now for the splatter stamp, I'm going to use the bubble bath again, as it is, and I'm going to do it twice. So I'm going to do stamp once and then stamp it again, so you don't get so much of an image. I don't know whether you can even see much of that. So you get this here, and then you get the second image, which isn't that much. So I'm going to keep doing this. Do this. again, it's a lot easier if you can move your paper around rather than your stamp, because you tend to move. It's easier if you move the stamp around, if you move the paper around rather than the stamp. But there we go, it's okay. So I'm just going to keep adding some more texture to this as I go. And I'm making, hopefully it's going to be lighter towards the centre of this part here. Now I'm going to use the same stamp again, but I'm going to use the Fresh Freesia this time. And I'm hoping, there we go, that, get that off my finger. I'm going to do it the same. Yeah, do some more. A little bit of Fresh Freesia in places. There we go. And another piece over here. A little bit there. Not too much of this one, so I think that's enough. Yep, that'll be fine. So that's all of my stamping with the main image. Okay, so those are all done. My card's now ready to cut up. I will show you how I do that in a second, but first of all I'm also going to do my sentiments. I've got, it doesn't look, I will clean it again just in case, but I'm pretty certain I cleaned this off yesterday. So I'm going to use the darker colour on this again. Yeah, there we go, so it's clean. So what I did, I put my happy birthday on the block. I sort of lined it up so that it was straight, and I don't, that's not too bad a gap between it. I could move it over slightly, but that's how it was set up. And then I've also got the hello on there. I've used that one for this, for the one card as well. So I'm going to use the Moody Mauve. No, actually I'm going to use the Berry Burst for my sentiments to go on the cards. So I just need some white card. I've got a scrap of white card there. I'm going to use this for the two happy birthdays, and then I'll use another piece for the, if I can find it, that, another piece here somewhere. There it is. I'm going to use that then for the circular one, for the hello. So here's the Berry Burst at the bottom. There we go. And so happy birthday. Going to ink up the happy birthday, which I've now got all over my block as well. So I need to be careful how I do this. So I don't need too much all around. There's one. And then second one, hopefully, again, not too far from the edge and not too far down from the top. There we go. So I've got my two sentiments for the two cards, and then the third one, the hello, I'm going to put that in the middle there. I'm going to clean this off quickly because it's very messy now. And I have got some on my fingers, so I need to be careful I don't get any more. There we go, that's that one done. Now the other side. 2 seconds. and I used my Stampin' Chamois to, it's in an old, or it's in a stamp box. You can buy these separately as well, and it just makes it easier to cleaning off the stamps. And although it looks dirty, it isn't actually all that dirty. You don't get any of the ink off. It just seems to keep the colour inside. So there we go. I think that one's just about cleaned off now. Right. And those are going to be on the outside of my card. So with these, I will be backing them with some Berry Burst card. I'll cut these up afterwards, but I've done all my stamping for now. I will stamp on the inside of the cards, but I'll do that when I've put them all together. So now we can cut them up. So I'm going to use my trimmer again, and I'm going to cut this. They're called one sheet wonders, basically. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to line up my score line in the middle of the cutting strip. Don't know if you can see that there. Hopefully you can. So I'm lining that up there, and then I'm going to cut that off, that piece off. There we go. So there's my first piece. That's going to be for my DL size card, and I am going to trim some off. I think I'll actually trim some off both ends, because the card itself is just under 10 centimetres. So I'm going to cut off 1/2 centimetre from each side. I don't usually work in centimetres, but for this card it works. So I'm going to cut 1/2 centimetre off there and 1/2 centimetre off that side. So it will end up, hopefully, being, that's not right, it's not 20, it's 21 centimetres, not 10. 10 is the width. So I've made it just under 9 centimetres. But the width is 8.25, I think it is. So I've just cut off about 1/4 inch basically to make it, it's just under, it's 7 7/8, that's what I've made it now. So there we go. Or yeah, more or less 20 centimetres, which I hope is the right length now. Here we go. We'll find out soon enough. Right. So, oh, I haven't finished this one, have I? Why did I put it away? Right. So here we go. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So this is going to be the 4.5 piece. So it's 4.5 by 6.5. So that's what that is. That will go on as a 1 block. This one I'm going to cut into 3. Now this is 4 3/4, and I did the last one slightly wrong. So this one I'm going to try and do it better. So I think it should be this 1.5, and 1.5 gives me 3, and then the last one will be 1/4 inch more. So if I add 1/8 inch onto, so it's 1.5, 1 5/8. We'll try that. Whoops, wrong one. 1 5/8. That's wrong. It's not 1 5/8. It's 4. And this one's going to be 1 5/8. 1 1/4. And then the third one will be a bit smaller. So there'll be 3 different sizes, which is fine. That's okay. But I want them to be next to each other like that. Okay, right. It doesn't really matter what size you cut the strips. You could try and cut them equally, or you can cut them so that they got their different widths like I have there. It's completely up to you. Now I also need my backing pieces to be cut up. So I've got this piece. I'm going to make 4 3/4 inches wide. And 2 of these. Then 4 3/4 inches wide. This is on the long side. and then I will cut it off at 6 3/4. Usually I've already done the cutting, but I thought I would show you how I put them all together. So that's 6 3/4 and 6 3/4, because the card bases are what I said they were, 5 by 7. And the third one, the second piece, the third card is a DL size card. It's this size card, and that is 21 centimeters by 10. So I want this one to be 9.5 inches long, wide, deep, whatever, and it's going to be haha, that's, what was that, 21 or 20? 21. So I'm going to make it 20.5. So I'm only cutting off about half a centimetre. So there will be a small border around that there. And then I've got the long piece that I cut off, and that will fit on top of that, like that. There we go. See? So we've just got a small border around each of those. The same thing will happen with the other pieces. And then I also want, I need a white, let's get the, I'll show you how I did the other ones now. So for the white circle, I'm using the 1 3/4 inch, put that over here again now, so you don't have to look at a messy desk. So I've got the sentiments here. So I've got the 1 3/4 inch punch here, which I'm going to cut my hello from. So fit that nicely in the middle and punch it out. And then I'm going to use a 2-inch punch, which is still available. I'm going to cut, whoops, 2 inches this out of the berry burst. Oops, there we go. So that's going to be the back of that. Whoops. And then I'm going to have to cut these 2 pieces, and I got the 2 pieces that I cut off the A4 sheet. They are going to be what I'm going to back these with. So I'm going to use my mini guillotine for this. I'm sorry about the squeak still. I haven't managed to oil it. So I'm going to put the H's so they're sort of at the edge here of my guide, my protector guide, protection part of it, and I'm going to make sure that they're about in the same place and cut those off so they're the same. It's going to be the same width, and then I'm going to put the bottom of the Y's so that they're again at the bottom of this guide here. Hopefully that'll be right. Try and make it straight. There we go. I don't know, it doesn't look straight to me. Right, I'm going to do this one here. And I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to put all the loops so that they're in a line at the top here, and they aren't straight. That's why that's not straight. So that should be okay now. That should be straight there. And then this one, line up the loops at the bottom there, and the loops from all the loops at the top of the writing, and that off there. So hopefully you'll see that they'll be straight. Hopefully they're straight along there as well now. Yeah, that looks okay. And that's just a tiny smidgen off. And that one the same. Just check. They're straight. Whoops. Oh, I think that one is straight. That one's good. Okay, so that's all the bits of my white I'm going to cut out. I'll stick these on. So this is going to stick straight onto the back of this, and I'm going to use my Stamp and Seal for this. Oops, well I will, if I can get it to move. Any minute now. There we go. So that's going to go on there. Again, with circles, it doesn't really matter too much because you just turn it until it's straight, but it will matter with these. So I'm going to just put some seal at either end and then some in the middle. And I'm going to line this up so that I've got a small border around there. I'm going to do the same thing with this one, and then I'll trim them. Whoops. Yes, that is the right way up. Go on it, go that way. Right. And two, and then one, some in the middle. There we go. And again, I'm going to line that up top to leave a small border. Whoops. There we go. I've got some on my finger now. There we go. So now I can just trim these off, and I'm just going to have a small amount of white. So again, I'm sort of lining up the white on the very edge of this, and I'm going to cut that off. And the same thing with this one. I don't know whether, I'll see if I can show you this. So it's that just there. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this out. Hang on a second. Okie dokie. Right, let's get rid of that. Sorry, I was just having a message up on my phone. I wondered what it was. Right, so now we can just put these all together. I just need to put my cable into my phone to stop it from going off. Won't be a second. Just move that so I can, whoops. Now I've messed it up. Sorry, won't be a second. Right, let's see if that's better now. Right, there we go. Right, won't be long now, and we'll put all these cards together. Put this away. Do need that. Right, we'll put the big one together first. So this one, I'm going to use some glue, some Tombow for this. Here we go. So I'm just going to put, came out in a bit of a blob. Whoops. Careful I don't get that. There we go. And put that on here like that. Try and make sure I've got an equal border around. And I'm going to then use this on here, which is going to blob again. Whoops. Now I've got it on my paper, so I'll be careful now. Put some of this, whoops, all around. That's, I'll use my finger a second, get that blob off. There we go. There. And then this is going to go, again, this one, it doesn't matter so much which way up it goes. It's completely up to you, however you've stamped it. But you want to make sure you've got the borders reasonably equal all the way around. There we go, that'll do. some glue on my finger. Now one of the happy birthdays is for this one. I got my sticky fingers, and I'm going to put it up onto with dimensionals. If I can find out what I did with my dimensionals. Here they are. Right. But I'm also going to use some ribbon, and I've got some of this bubble bath ribbon. It comes in a pack of 3. There's the azure blue, and I think it's the bubble bath and the lemon lolly. So I'm going to use some of this, and yeah, I'm just going to fold it in half, and I want it to be around about no, a bit less than that. So from there to there, and I'll just cut this off here, there, and I'm going to put some seal in the middle here, there and there, and I'm going to stick this onto my seal so that it's sort of slightly twisted. There we go. That will hopefully, there you go. Then put dimensionals on the back of this. 1, 2, 3. Take these off. There we go. And that will go over the top of there. I'll come back for the finishing off bits afterwards. Right, I've got some glue on here. Just get this off with my silicone eraser, and there we go. Right, so that's the one. I'm nearly done. Now for the other 2. I've got 2 5x7 cards. 1, 2. Oops. Just going to get those folded in half. There we go. And put that away a second. For my first card, I'm just going to put the berry burst layer down, and then that's going to go on top of it. There we go, like that. So this one's very straightforward. There we go. One, and then once this is down, put this one on top. There we go. Put it back on there. And that's that card. And this one has the hello on it. And with this one, I'm just going to put a piece of ribbon. I just want to know how long to cut it. About there. So I'm going to cut this ribbon about like that. I'm going to put some more of this. I wish it would come off. There. And I'm going to put that over there like that. Stick that down. And again, some dimensionals on the back of this one. 1, 2, 3. These off. And the hello, just go around here like that. So that's my hello. And then for the last one, we're going to stick the backing piece on here first. There we go. I'm going to put that on here like that, again with small border around it, and whoops, away. I'm going to use this with the 3 strips. So for these, hopefully they're going to go on here like this. So there will be gaps in between them, but it's up to you how large or small you make the gaps. And the reason for that is because the other piece for this card, I wanted it to fit exactly. So this one's going to be slightly different because it's going to be a narrower one, so it's got to be spread out more. That's why I wanted to cut it up into strips. So we're going to stick these down. So I'm going to stick the 2 outside pieces on first, and then I'm going to add the 3rd piece in the middle and hopefully centre that one up. So I'm going to leave a bigger gap on the sides, a larger gap I should say, not a bigger one. Right, and then another one, this one over here. Whoops, went off there. That one, try and make sure that I get them at the top in the right place, and the bottom, line those up, and then this is going to go in the middle. Whoops. Again, like I said, you could work out exactly how much each one would be if you wanted to cut them so that they were exactly the same size. But I forgot to do that in advance, so I just thought I'll cut them all different sizes anyway. So it doesn't really matter. They look quite effective however you do it. So for this card, I used it's a narrower ribbon, so I did it 3 times. So with this one, I'll probably just do it a couple of times for this one. And do it like that. And cut that. Yeah, about there. Which way round was it? That way. There we go. So I've got my ribbon, and I'm going to put again some, if I can get it to come off, some here, some, it doesn't to rip once it's and once. So here we go. Hopefully, so I'm going to have one loop there, another one there, a loop. I want this one to come around. Doesn't want to. How am I? Do that behind then. Come behind. And then there's nothing there. Make that go smaller. And that one's twisted that round to be there. There. Put another piece here, another bit of tape. There we go. So that'll hold that in place. Really twisted that one up. Something. Don't know quite how I did that. There we go. Come on there. Right, let's get some glue there. There we go. We can stick that there. Now I'm going to put the dimensionals on the back of here. Ow, it's all stuck to my fingers instead of the card. Right, so we'll put some dimensionals on here. There. 2. I'm going to use 4 on this one, I think. There we go. 3, whoops, 4, take that off and put that over here like that. That's more or less the same width as the back of my card here. There we go, so that looks okay. And then finally we'll just add some embellishments. I'll find some quickly. Oh, here we go. How about these? Nope, wrong one. Wrong one. Wrong pink. Could use some emoji mauve. Or have I got some more? Ah, these will look nice. These are the Tinsel Gems 4-pack. I'll use the pink out of here. Yeah, they look nice. And here we go. So I tend to use 3s if I can. So whoops, we'll turn it the right way around. Pick it up. Come on, you can. Whoop. Oh, I got, whoa, where did you come from? They're all coming off now, where you don't want them to. There we go. Right, I'm going to put this one here. There we go. No, I didn't. It came back off. Right, let's try another one. This isn't working very well. Probably need some more putty. There we go. I'm probably going to have too much. Right, pick up one there, and then 2 small ones. One there, and one just there. So there's 3 on there. And then for this one, we'll have, if I can get this turned over, it would be great. There we go. Now pick it up. Right. We'll have one. Oops. No, we won't. There. I think the sticky's come off this one. I've lost it altogether. Don't know where it went. That's odd. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's carry on. 1 there, 1 here, and 1 there. So that's the second one done. And with the third one, we'll have a large one there. I'll do another large one. Well, I would if I could pick it up. Down here, and then the third one, I'll do a small one. I really don't want to come off today. Over there. There we go. Get rid of this green one. Don't know how I picked that one up, but there we go. Right, so those are all the embellishments. So all we need to do now is stamp the inside. That green one really likes me. don't want to go back in now. Put them out the way for now. Right, let's do something on the inside. So we need, I'll use one of this. I'm going to put the same one in all of them. I'll put Hope Your Day is a Happy One. So find this one. Hope Your Day is a Happy One. I'll just take this stamp off here for now. And then put that on there. And I'll use the Berry Burst again. Put those out of the way a second. And put that there. And then I'll use a small flower. With the fresh powder. And I'm going to put I'll use the Berry Burst on the inside this time. This one. There we go. So that's the first card. I will do the envelopes as well, but I won't have time to do it on here as well. So I'll just do these quickly. So another one, Hope Your Day is a Happy One. A flower. And the wrong one, this one. There. That's the second one done, and then the third one. I've got ink all over my fingers, so I've got to be careful. This one here. There we go. And then a flower. There. And oops, wrong one. Doesn't matter. You can just put another one over the top. Here we go. Now it looks so I've got. There we go. Never mind. Right, so those are my 3 cards. I hope you've enjoyed that. This is something that's called a one sheet wonder. So you can use one sheet and you cut it up to make lots of cards out of one sheet. So that's, now I haven't got a white sheet anymore, a white page. So those are my pink cards. Hope you like them. And then I've also got these that are in different shades of browns. So there's the other sheet. I don't know which ones you prefer, which ones I prefer actually. I think I like both of them. So thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully you'll join me again. This is simple stamping, believe it or not. Hope you'll join me again on Friday when I'll do a fancy fold card, and then on Sunday for my Step Up on Sunday. Thank you very much, and I will see you again soon. Bye.